It's time now for your weekly fishing reports and real-time outdoor news from the Southwest region. This is Fox Sports Outdoors Southwest.
Hey folks, I'm Captain E, English Glover, sitting in for Barry this week, and I'm going to be your host. I had the pleasure of fishing with Barry last summer when he came down and do some flounder fishing with me here in my backwaters of Murrells Inlet, South Carolina. We're going to head off to the nearshore reefs to target another species that's very popular in the Carolinas during the May and June, July, even into August months, the spade fish that are on these local reefs. We've got some wonderful reef systems throughout the Carolinas and in Georgia, and we're going to have a great time today. I tell you, I was a guide here for 7 to 8 years. Love doing this with kids, adults, young at heart, it doesn't matter. It's a great time to get out and target these fish. What we've got is cannonball jellies. I've got a bucket loaded with them. These things will not sting you like some of the other jellyfish, but spade fish love these. We're going to put them on the clothes hanger, drop them over on these reefs, try to tease up these spade fish. We're going to fight these on light tackle, have a great time. I tell you what, we also got some wonderful reports coming from your inside reporters in your local region as well. Let's get started. Let's go back to the FSN studios.
Hello everybody, a look at the Salooner tables shows the best fishing times for the weekend to be a little bit after dawn in the mornings and right around dusk in the evenings. Sunrise will take place at 6:21 with sunset occurring at 8:39. And night skies will feature a moon that is 80% visible. Stay with us, all of your fishing updates from around the region are on the way. And I'll return with Keith Combs on this week's Ask the Pro with a question about lure color. First though, here are some of the entries from our Costa Catch of the Week contest. These pictures did not win, but we thought you might enjoy looking at some of the nice catches. We'll have this week's winner at the end of the show.
Fox Sports Outdoors is brought to you by Academy Sports and Outdoors. Right stuff, low price, every day. Buy Lose, setting a new standard of fishing performance. Feel the difference. By Gene LaRue and Bobby Garland Lures. With our baits, a good day of fishing is in the bag. And by Stren Fishing Lines, the standard of dependability.
Well folks, like I said earlier, it was a pleasure having Barry down here to do some flounder fishing, and I wish he was out today because, you know, I've talked about it every week in my Carolinas report about the spade fish this time of the year, and you can listen to that right there. They are an unbelievable fight on light tackle. You know, I'm fishing them with these Lose new inshore redfish series from Academy Sports. Come on. All right, I tell you what. But a great time, and they're actually really good table fare. We're fishing on a reef in about 55 foot of water. Actually, big piece of structure we're fishing on is a decommissioned shrimp boat that the Coastal Conservation Association of South Carolina put together and had sunk out here in conjunction with Department of Natural Resources. These fish, I tell you, once you see them, they're like an angel fish, but they can really put the beat down on you, especially a fish this size. I'm going to say this is a 4 or 5 pounder, just because we were sitting there watching them, and this one decided to take my chunk of jellyfish and swim away from me. But they are a unbelievable fight, especially on light tackle. Here he comes. Here he comes. Well, what they can do is they are really good at getting their body turned sideways and maximizing your fight. God, that's a nice one. But they are probably one of the funnest fighting fish, one of the funnest fish to target, period. Really, just because of the way we get them to bite. We tease them up to the side of the boat. Here, get these pliers here. We're not going to keep anything today. We're going to let them all live. But there's a nice barracuda swimming around out there that's looking for a meal. I hope he can get to the bottom quick. Go. I tell you what, we got a great report coming from your neck of the woods. Let's go see what's biting on your body of water and your lakes.
Hi folks, This week's Lone Star Lakes is brought to you once again by Signature Properties, offering everything you need in ranch, lake lifestyle, vacation, or retirement properties. Signature Properties, after all, your home is special. Shouldn't your agent be? Now this week over on Sam Rayburn, they're catching bass in the grass. But it's not just any grass. You need to look from 8 to 15 feet for submerged grass beds and either run over the top and sides with a crankbait or use a spinnerbait or weighted Senko to get down to just at the top of the grass. Twitch your lure across the top, a bass will come out and grab it. And over at Cypress Springs, they're catching crappie on the docks and along main lake points. Use your standard minnows and crappie jigs. Start in about 8 to 10 feet, work your way out to the 15, 16, 17 foot range until you connect with a crappie, then set up shop. And Cypress Springs also has great catfishing up near the dam. If you'll chum an area about an hour before you go out and fish, you should connect with a lot of big Cypress Springs catfish. That's this week's Lone Star Lakes, brought to you by Signature Properties. Now let's check in with Mr. Bill Olson. He's on the coast.
Hi folks, this week's report is brought to you by Port Aransas on Mustang Island, the fishing capital of Texas, where anglers enjoy pristine bays, estuaries, 18 miles of surf, and the deep blue waters of the Gulf of Mexico. Plus the local restaurants will even cook your catch come sundown. Come fish and play Texas Island style. For more information, visit portaransas.org. Well, summer patterns are settling in, fresh water's moving out on the upper coast, and fishing in the surf when the winds allow continues to be good. Mid-bay reefs and clam beds continue to be a proven pattern to find trout on Sabine and in the lower portions of Galveston Bay as well as West Galveston Bay. Croaker and soft plastics have both produced. The surf has been a good option from Sabine southward to the National Seashore on North Padre Island. On the middle coast, trout anglers have tangled with some kingfish on light tackle. Just tie on a titanium leader. Redfish continue to be good in the back lakes and shorelines behind Matagorda Peninsula and Island. Either side of Cedar Bayou, both inside and out, has been good for trout. Quarantine Island, as well as grassy areas along the Lydia Ann Channel, have given up trout and a few scattered reds. Anglers fishing croaker or live shrimp along Shoreline Drive on the upper Laguna Madre, as well as from Pita Island to along the King Ranch shoreline, have picked up some good trout. Community Bar at Port Mansfield has been good, as have the jetties at East Cut for some nice trout. On the lower coast, South Bay continues to give up trout and redfish on live shrimp and soft plastics. Gaswell Flats and Long Bar have kept anglers busy with some solid trout on live and artificial bait. This weekend, both Saturday and Sunday have a double tide schedule of 2 high and 2 low tides each day. I'm Bill Olson, and I'll see you on the coast.
A few miles off the Texas Gulf Coast, a research expedition is about to begin. Brooks Shipley Lozano is chief scientist of the Artificial Reef Program for the Texas Parks and Wildlife Department. Chris Ledford is the diving safety officer. They're part of a team, spending the next 4 days on board the MV Fling. The Gulf of Mexico has very few naturally occurring reefs. So artificial ones like oil platforms, reef balls, and decommissioned ships give barnacles, coral, and other invertebrate sea life the hard surfaces they need to survive.
The monitoring program is essential to the entire artificial reef program, because if we don't monitor the reef structures, then how will we know whether the fish are there, whether it's a good structure?
Both Brooke and Chris help manage an artificial reef program that covers 4,000 acres across nearly 70 sites.
What I'm working on is the database that contains all of the data that we have collected. One of the things that I'm hoping to do eventually is be able to take all of that and run a spatial implication model using fuzzy logic, which is what my PhD was, to then determine if we're putting reefs too closely together.
I love just playing around down there, which is kind of hard to do when I'm on a work dive, but we always make some time for that.
I probably feel closer to, the God and on all the spiritual aspects when I'm at sea in the water than I do even in a church. It's just you and God's creations in perfection.
For Texas Parks and Wildlife, this is Abe Moore.
Well, I tell you what, for all you freshwater fanatics out there, and I know most of our viewers are freshwater fishermen to get to enjoy that, but this, these spade fish, I would almost call them a big fat brim on steroids. These things are a wonderful fight. And again, typically in the Carolinas and Georgia, Florida, and even in areas in the Gulf, you'll find them, and around here, we typically will start targeting them come May. Water temperatures start to warm up, and what happens is the cannonball jellies, like we're using today for bait and teasers, barracuda on him. No, that's more fish with him. But you got to watch out on these reefs, because there are a lot of barracudas out here this time of the year, and they will try to get a free meal before you can get him in the boat. We'll get him in. That's another 3-pounder. Nice fish. Come here. There we go. Come here, buddy. There we go. Not gonna reach my hand in there. Not with those barracudas swimming around. Yeah, come here. But they got a great little set of, not really teeth. They're almost like little filters they use. They'll eat shrimp. I've caught them on squid. Anything, you know, that you're gonna find around these areas. But the main key is chumming them up and getting them beside the boat. We're gonna let him go. Get down there below the barracuda. Come on, quick. Hey, listen, a reporter in your neck of the woods has got a great report for you this week. Let's see what's happening on your waters.
Hey, I know this doesn't look like the Fort Gibson Lake you're used to seeing, but that's where I am today. There's still lots of water here. There's still lots of flooded cover. Now, back in the flooded cover area, starting to see lots of fry and fingerling bait fish. Obviously, as they start to receive the water even more, pull that water out, those areas are going to get really good here in the next couple of weeks. But at this time, it's difficult to find fish because there is so much cover. What you can do to go catch fish on these big reservoirs that have current going through them at this time as they pull them down is to go to the bridge pillars. I like to do that. I like to catch white bass around the bridge pillars. I know I can do that on Fort Gibson Lake under these conditions. That's what I've done here today. Now, my wife Donna and I went to the bridge pillars. We found a lot of activity around the pillars, concentrating on the current side of the pillar. The south wind was coming in. The current is coming down from the north, so we had a good mixture of water there. The white bass were really aggressive. We caught some nice ones doing that. Now, we're throwing jigging spoons, 1/2 ounce and 3/4 ounce. With that much current going through, you need a good heavy bait like that with lots of flutter. Making a pitch right up against the pillars, then working it back like a yo-yo, trying to keep that spoon in the 10 to 15 foot depth. Now, the boat's sitting in 40 to 50 foot of water around the pillars, but those fish are in that upper column 10 to 15 feet deep right now. When you work that thing back in, a lot of times they're going to hit it on the retrieve as you get right back to the boat because they're picking it back up coming. Don't go down below where those fish are hitting it. Water temperature here about in the 80-degree range. The water is amazingly clear for as much water and rain and runoff this area has had. It's really excellent conditions. I know you can catch white bass on the pillars at many lakes across the state at this time that have a current going through, but one thing about it, you can't catch them if you don't go.
I tell you what, it doesn't matter. I tell you, unfortunately as a kid, I didn't get to do this. We spent most of our times trolling the inlets here in South Carolina, but this is just a great time to get a kid out. Shoot, even if you're young at heart like myself, this isn't a big one, but still, just the sheer fact that you get to watch him take the bait, swim off with it and set the hook on him, just makes it that much more fun. You know what I'm using real quick, and I'll show you. You can use any number of rigs to do this. A lot of guys will use like a smaller jig head. We'll let him go. You know, not a very big one, but what a great fight. And what I've got here, and typical to my reports, you know, I always talk about a Carolina rig. We got a Carolina rig here. I've got a number 4 offset Kell hook here, 20-pound fluorocarbon leader, anywhere from 1.5 feet to 2 foot long is great. A swivel there in the 75-pound class, and then I've got a 3/4 egg sinker on here. Typically you can use half down to a quarter depending on the current. We got a little bit of current today, as you can tell. It's a little bit rougher, But these rigs obviously work great here. Like I said, a smaller jig head works great. Even just rigging up a hook and putting some split shot on there works great.
Fox Sports Outdoors is brought to you by Exide AGM Marine Batteries. Starts like new, stays like new longer. By Motor Guide Trolling Motors. Introducing the XI5 for ultimate boat control. By Fort Worth Nissan. Fox Sports Outdoors is powered by Fort Worth Nissan. And by Nitro Performance Fishing Boats. Champions aren't born, they're made.
All right, folks, well, I'll tell you what, I'm hooked up again, and I could not tell you. You can see how much fun this is. It is a great time, and again, you know, these reefs along the Carolinas, south of North Carolina, and even into Georgia, they've got them too, but these reefs are located from 3 miles, some out to about 25, 30 miles, and they're spaced out to where there's plenty of areas to get to, no matter what port you're leaving out of. You know, leaving out of Murrells Inlet, we fish a lot around reefs called Paradise Reef, Pawleys Island Reef, and today I'm on North Inlet Reef. Again, we're fishing right on top of a 60-foot shrimp boat that was sunk last year in May by the CCA. Oh boy, this is a nice one here. I finally got lucky and caught the big one out of the pack. God, this is a nice spade fish here. We're gonna go ahead and get him in the boat here, release him, and I tell you, let's go to Louisiana. Let's see what's happening down there.
Hey friends, Captain Kevin Broussard here with your Fox Sports Outdoor Report. I'm talking Louisiana, talking saltwater fishing. Tell you what, as you can see right here, things are finally starting to settle down a little bit. We're starting to get some drier weather, not quite as much rain. The water's starting to get a little prettier and softer, and look what happens when you get good weather. I'll tell you what, right now, these fish came on, most of them came on live shrimp under a popping cork in 3 to 5 foot of water. We were fishing the edges of the ship channel, some little sandbars. We had a nice tide movement. Tell you what, the redfish came in about 1.5 foot, 2 foot of water, same thing, live shrimp under a popping cork. We started out the morning throwing some soft plastics early on 1/8 ounce Rockport Rattler jig heads. We were throwing some Kelly Wiggler plastics. Tell you what, we caught about 15 like that. Then we went to live shrimp. So right now, fish early and fish late, try to beat the heat. And I tell you what, Louisiana saltwater fishing is picking up. We'll turn it over to Cajun Phil and see what's going on in the bass scene.
Right now, bass fishing is still suffering a lot. Calcasieu River's muddy, Sabine River's muddy, everything up north of Louisiana around the Red River, it's all muddy. They are catching some nice bass up at Toledo Bend, though. The south of the lake has been better, down around 6 Mile, Housen, Indian Mound, but the big fish was caught north of Pendleton Bridge. So all of Toledo Bend's doing really good right now. Talked to lots of people that's catching big ice chests full of big bluegill and chickapit, doing real good there.
Oh yeah, I'll tell you what, fishing on these reefs is a great time. You know, last year Barry and I stayed in the inlet and we flounder fished and we had a good time, caught some nice flounder. It was nice to have a Barry out here, but fishing out here is something we really wanted to try and do, but we just couldn't get the weather. And as you can see, it's a little choppy today, but these fish are not scared to come up and play with the teaser. As long as the boat's not slamming too bad. You know, again, it's all about these cannonball jellies, teasing these fish up right beside the side of the boat. A lot of people I've seen cut the bait up and throw it overboard. I mean, to me, you're actually chumming for the guy behind you. We like to put them on a clothes hanger, string them up and put about an 8-ounce egg sinker on there, and keep that thing right beside the boat. Here we go. Yeah, that's a nice one. Come here. Nice fish there, nice spade fish. Yeah, they look a lot like an angelfish and are in the same family. What they do, again, is they love eating these cannonball jellies that are migrating along the reefs and along the coast this time of the year with that warmer water. But they will fall victim to shrimp, squid. It doesn't matter. If you can tease them up, you can catch them. It's real easy. All right, folks, don't go anywhere. When we come back, we're going to have your Costa Catch of the Week winner.
Fox Sports Outdoors is brought to you by Tracker Boats. It's more than just a boat, it's a tracker. By Costa Sunglasses, see what's out there. By Mercury Marine, official outboard of Fox Sports Outdoors. And by Lowrance Electronics. Find, navigate, dominate.
Welcome back, everyone. Let's get right to your Ask the Pro question for this week. Jacob wants to know, does the color of your lure really matter? For the answer, we asked Bassmaster Elite Angler Keith Combs.
That's a very good question. I believe that lure color makes a difference more than we give it credit for. Yes, fish will bite several different colors, but there's always one color that they will bite best. And I can tell you, I spent a lot of time on Lake Falcon, and it's a very murky lake. And as a guide out there, I got to see firsthand where small color changes sometimes made a difference. Not between catching fish, but between catching a winning bag and just catching a good sack of fish. So absolutely, even in murky water, experiment around with colors. If you're not happy with what you're catching, change the color. Change it subtly at first. Maybe you don't have to do something drastic, but if you're not catching what you want, always make a change.
Thank you, Keith. If you want some help from one of the pros, go to foxsportsoutdoors.com and follow the Ask the Pro link to submit your question. Now it's time for someone to win a new pair of sunglasses on the Costa Catch of the Week.
All right, folks, it's time for your winner of the Costa Catch of the Week contest. And your winner is Ted Romero of Edmond, Oklahoma, with a 9.1 pound largemouth bass caught off of Bell Cow Lake near Chandler, Oklahoma. To enter the contest, visit foxsportsoutdoors.com, then go to the right side of the page and click on the Costa Catch box. Follow the instructions and send us your big fish photo, and you could be the next winner of a new pair of Costa sunglasses. To view the entire line of Costas, simply go back to our website and click on the Costa logo. You'll see all the frames and lens styles, including the ones I'm wearing today called Tuna Alley. Hey folks, let's talk about the gear we're using today. I tell you what, the Carolina rig works best for me when I'm doing the spade fishing on these nearshore reefs. And for rod and reel today, I tell you what, the Lew's inshore combo here with the Hero rod, along with the new Inshore Series spinning reels, work great. I'm excited to have these now in my arsenal, and I tell you what, I know they're gonna hold up in the salt water, and they work great on these spade fish, flounder, redfish, whatever you want to target inshore. Stop by your local Academy Sports to find anything you need to target whatever species you're looking for. Be sure to watch next week's episode Thursday at 10:30 p.m. with a repeat airing Saturday morning at 7:30. And you can always check our website at foxsportsoutdoors.com for any last-minute changes. Plus, for the latest fishing news, videos, and photos, visit our Twitter feed and Facebook page. Our latest episode is always on 24/7 at foxsportsoutdoors.com. And to watch past episodes and lots of how-to videos, simply click on the past episodes and more videos here. Hey folks, it's been my extreme pleasure to sit in and host this week for Barry. I tell you what, sharing my Carolinas reports every week's a lot of fun, but getting out and showing you the waters that I like to fish and the species that I love to target has even been that much better. I hope you've learned a lot on how to catch them. And if you want to come down and do it with a guide, we've got some great guides in the area. Visit crazysistermarina.com. They can get you set up with a wonderful trip down here. I look forward to sharing the Carolinas reports with you over the rest of the season. Also, maybe getting out and hosting a freshwater show in our region as well. It's been a great time. I hope your lines stay tight and your cooler's full. Make sure to tune in next week. We're going to have another great show for you.